All right, I guess we'll just go ahead and go live here. I'm not sure if it's up or not. It should be, but yeah, we're gonna be going ahead and doing some work here on my newest ship I'm starting here. This is the USS North Carolina. What's gonna be fun about this build here is that this is gonna be the first build that I do with an actual somewhat interior. It's not going to be a full interior or anything like that, but it's going to basically have the turret interior, and that's as far as of right now of what I plan on doing. Give me 1 second. I have a timer going off. I'll be right back. All right. Okay, now we can get crack-a-lack in here. How you doing, J Master or J Master? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, we're gonna be going ahead and working on this turret. So kind of just a little work in progress here. I am working on USS North Carolina, BB-55. Awesome looking ship. I assumed you would be in here. I was actually really shocked to see your message and see that you were already sitting there waiting in the stream as soon as I basically posted it. Um, they're going to be straightforward or standard going forwards? Probably not. The reason I'm doing North Carolina in particular is just because she's so close to me, and then I have a lot of good reference and stuff for it. So North Carolina is probably gonna be one of those ones that I do a partial interior and maybe slowly add more and more to it overall. As for other ships, I don't really think so. Um, Possibly, I know that the 16-inch guns used here are pretty similar across the Iowa and South Dakota classes, so it's potentially that I might just rip the magazines out of these ones and put those in there as well. Um, but yeah, as of right now, it's not going to be the standard. It's just going to be something fun I wanted to do for this build. So I recently got made a 1-to-1 scale Nimitz aircraft carrier from Jag Thunder. That's pretty awesome, man. I couldn't imagine following those big tutorials like that. I know MC Military Force had that big carrier tutorial he did, and I uh I could never imagine myself trying to do a tutorial of that magnitude. The Gustav gun was enough for me. Let's see, this needs to be copied over. But yeah, my fourth was pretty good. Thanks so much for asking. I hope yours was as well. Had a good time. Went and chilled on a boat for a little bit, and then went to uh, went to my girlfriend's parents' house. Um, and basically hung out there. You know, we went on their boat and all that stuff. They live off the coast of North Carolina as well, so we got to sit there. They kind of put on their little fireworks show and grilled out and stuff. It was pretty good. It was a good time. I mean, there's only 5 caliber different between the guns on the Colorados, NorCals, SoCals. Yeah, South Dakotas. Yeah. I mean, from what I've looked at, it seems like this gun turret was very similar to that of Iowa. Really, the only difference was a longer gun on Iowa. Um, but yeah, that's really difference wise all I've really been able to find. Let me pull up my reference here real quick for that gun turret because I'm going to be needing this throughout the night working on this because it is going to be quite a task to get this set up. So but yeah, it was a good fourth. We had a good time. Am I ever gonna go back to tutorials? Most likely not, man. I don't find them enjoyable anymore, and just with I say getting older, but I'm not really that old. But just getting to the point now where I have to be strategic about how I build and all that stuff. Like I want to spend time building stuff that I just really want to do, and I not so much trying to push out tutorials or trying to, you know, do the next tutorial or whatever. Like, I like to sit here and just kind of showcase off what I'm building, but not overwork myself with tutorials, which ended up becoming kind of like the main reason I got so burnt out with Minecraft and stepped away from Minecraft for a while, was because of just the amount of tutorials I was putting out, and it was just too much. But honestly, right now I put a lot of stuff out for free downloads. Unfortunately, it doesn't not everybody can download a schematic and use it, but that's just kind of the way, unfortunately, it's got to be. Um, as I just don't have fun doing tutorials anymore, and I got to spend time doing what I like instead of trying to force something I don't. How you doing, Squiggle? This is going to be a 1.5 to 1 scale airborne. You do a B-17 in the new scale. Yeah, actually, I plan on it. I actually have one of my uh, Patreon supporters. They're actually asking for a B-17 landed for this month, so that'll be something I will be working on in the background, probably coming out. It won't be a tutorial or anything like that, but it will be out. It'll be a free download since it's a commission build. So yeah, I mean the showcases I think are good. Like I don't really see any negatives to them. Like I just show off what I built. Something I'm excited about, and then you guys are free to download it or free to do whatever you guys want with it. I think the main trick here is gonna be trying to figure out like the deck spacing on this. Figure out the deck sizes, because it's a little difficult to judge, especially with the turret and how that kind of goes down. Um, but if I had to take a guess, it almost looks like it's probably about 2 decks worth is just going to be some of the engineering equipment here for all this section. So I don't know about a Kirov next, but I do plan on doing it eventually. I had a another builder. He actually introduced me to importing of models. So you'll see here, this kind of looks like cheese. Looks pretty messed up right now. But he actually introduced me to actually importing 3D models. From like War Thunder and stuff like that, so I can actually import the models. And I'm really gonna mainly just use them for building the whole of the ship. Like I'm not gonna really use anything superstructure wise, but just for the whole of the ship, it just saves so much time because building the hulls of ships are just such a pain. And honestly, I'm like the part I dread the most when it comes to shipbuilding. So trying to build, being able to kind of like bypass that a little bit by, I still have to go through and smooth it out and do a lot of stuff by hand, but like saving a huge portion of time on that. Like I had the entire whole of the ship finished in like 2 hours the other night. So you definitely can knock it out pretty quick. Obviously, it still lacks some of the little detailing bits here and there, but it's pretty good. Um, I use one of those Flak 40 guns from your Flak Towers anti-aircraft on the airfield. That's awesome, man. It's a pretty cool design for it. How you doing, Ketchup Packet? Thanks so much for stopping by, man. And the Great Cheddar Fleet. I mean, it's not far off from the old 1800s battleships I have. Kind of has that similar vibe to it. So we're going to continue building this turret ring down here. Now, the main tricky part is going to be doing the interior. I think really the best way that I think I'm going to do this is I'm kind of going to basically leave the walls exposed for right now, so I can kind of fly in and out, do the different levels, and then kind of go from there. In addition, I want to say probably the height of each level would make sense, probably around 3 blocks tall for each level, because I'm trying to remember, because I just recently on July 3rd went in and actually did a tour of the battleship itself, and I feel like the barbettes, like I did have quite a bit of room to still kind of walk in there, and I'm 6'3", so if I can fit in there relatively decently, I feel like, you know pretty decent amount of space. But I'm probably gonna go with about 3 blocks there for these other levels here. Learn how to do model stuff. That's pretty sweet, man. 15 to 1. It's nice. Should make a Nimitz aircraft carrier. I do want to do a modern fleet carrier. Now that I have the ability to import 3D models and know how to do it, it would be a lot easier for me to do a modern carrier. The main reason I didn't want to do one was mainly just due to the fact of the hull design for 'em was just looked crazy. So yeah. The tour was really awesome. My girlfriend really came in clutch for a birthday gift. We did the full 3 hour kind of guided tour. Um, was pretty interesting for the most part. I mean, it's one of those tours that it's designed for the general public that oh, excuse me, the general public that just doesn't really know much about like warships in general. So some of the stuff was kind of redundant, and there was also a few inaccuracies about what he said. Um, Mainly regarding the gun turret. Like he said in the gun turret, there's two rings. So you have your gun turret up here. You have your electronic, and basically all the mechanisms to make the turrets, rotate, move up and down. Some of the hoist engines, stuff like that, all located in this section here. But underneath this, there's going to be two turret rings here that are strictly for the projectiles. And he said in his tour that turret two was the only one of the turrets that had both turret rings for those shells. And it was basically the second ring was extra storage, and it was mainly to, you know, taking part of the barbette that is located here. However, that's the truth. Actually, looking at blueprints, basically all the height for turret two comes from a higher powder handling room in the bottom for all the lifts. So there's just a few things like that that were a little inaccurate, and my nerd self was just like, you're a little wrong about that. But overall, it was a pretty good tour. I mean, you can't go wrong just seeing one of the old battleships. Really, they're such a cool thing to go see. Currently making a B-29 model IRL, and almost the entire interior painted because of cockpit bombs. That's pretty awesome. I tried doing models, like actual real life models, and I just don't have the patience for it. But yeah, here I am building a giant ship in Minecraft. But honestly, in Minecraft, like, it's a lot easier to do and a lot cheaper than some of those model kits out there. Import for games. The model. So the models are uploaded to Sketchfab. So Sketchfab's a giant like 3D modeling site where people can upload files. Um, but the files themselves, the actual one I used here was actually taken from War Thunder. So they actually are able to take the files from like War Thunder and stuff and basically use it. So how you doing, Chiz? Thanks for stopping by, man. We're working on some of the turret interior to see how far I'm able to get with this before I give up on interior. Your Lund class, it's a tricky thing to do, man. Just tricky plane. There's a plane kit for $110. That's not bad, dude. If it comes with all the paint and stuff like that. My biggest issue is like when I first started, I was trying to paint everything by hand, and trying to paint those models by hand, dude, just is not the way to go, man. I really learned quick. I'm like, so this is why people have airbrushes and stuff. And honestly, if I had an airbrush, I may have stuck with it because I could have made stuff look a lot better. But I'm kind of a perfectionist sometimes, and when I can't get something to look exactly how I want it to, um, I can get pretty frustrated with it pretty quick. You did on okay, awesome, Chiz. Well, I appreciate it, man. If is your Yamato on there? Because I looked at Reflector's 16-inch gun interior for his Iowas and all that stuff. Was kind of using that for a bit of inspiration and all that stuff. Is yours on MB? If we took a look at it sometime for a little bit of inspiration. So these two rings right here Actually, there should be one more ring, I think. So we have the electronics and mechanical and all that stuff right here. I think this right here is going to be a little bit. We're gonna have one more of these, and this is gonna be our rings there for the ammunition storage. Sounds good. I'm just kind of looking for some ideas and stuff like that for how some people did some of the turret interiors. I think I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do for this one, but it's just kind of a weird thing to do. It's already midnight. Man, all you European guys need to stop going to bed at midnight, 1 a.m. You gotta stay up and just watch the stream, dude. You're writing a book, huh? What's your book about? Oop. So we take this. We're gonna go across here, connect up here, connect this. So it seems like for the first few levels here, there's like a armored kind of tube that goes all the way through. So that's what we're gonna be working on here, building up this armored tube that would be used to basically go in and out of the turret. It also seems like it may spin on it. It's 7 a.m. here though. You're in the Philippines, right? Or I know you're like in like the Pacific Islands somewhere if I remember correctly, but kind of crazy to think it's 7 a.m. Um, and being a VA writer for an indie show. That's pretty cool, dude. We're gonna do the interior here in white. Also, let me know if the visibility gets crap inside here, because obviously we're gonna be working in some pretty tight confined spaces. So if the visibility for the stream to watch and like enjoy, see what I do, is not great, just let me know, and I can see about taking off shaders to maybe help at all. Definitely possible. No, this is not gonna be in create. This is just standard building. That's what I thought, man. I thought you were from the Philippines. I remember you came early a while ago when you worked on the U-boat building thing. Oh yeah. I mean, hopefully I can try this week a little bit more. I have this whole week off from work, so part of the reason why I'm starting North Carolina in the first place is I'm gonna have a lot of the free time. But just kind of finally took some time off work and all that since I haven't been off since December. So nice to take a break and just sit here, build some builds, and relax. Not really going anywhere in particular, just hanging out. And honestly, sometimes you just need that. So I was joking with my girlfriend. I was like, "What kind of nerd, just takes a week off work just so they can stay home and play Minecraft?" Couldn't be me, man. Let's do this. Rotate this around. Let's get some pale oak buttons. You make huge airfields. That's pretty sweet, man. The problem with those big projects like that is you can get pretty tiresome pretty quick, unfortunately. Like they're fun and all, but man, do they do they burn me out sometimes. That's really kind of the main reason I haven't really finished a airfield or anything like that started on, is I just get burnt out and tired of it. Tired of working on it and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm the wrong channel if you're looking for create mod content. Some people build some cool stuff in create, but I'm more about looks than functionality. So you've come to the wrong place, my friend. It's not bad. I'd say sometimes it might be a little easier when you're following tutorials, as tutorials tend to be easier than, watching a or actually building it, yourself and all that stuff. You can be a lot more involved with it, that's for sure. So the tubes in here, this is going to be electrical, and then we have our projectile rings are going to be here. So I'll probably get started here on the projectile rings. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do these. I feel like the decks themselves should probably be half slabs. I think a full block would be a bit much, but I also am not quite sure how that's going to affect things later on. So, but what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and do a white, do like some quartz top slabs here for the floor, and that will kind of be our starting point here. Um, Realistically, it seems like mainly the battleships at this time, probably U.S. Navy ships in general, it was a red floor, with white kind of walls, for pretty much most spaces. Anything that was in like the officer quarters and stuff like that, officer country, would have been like a greenish color walls. So yeah, I mean, building the stuff, yourself is definitely no easy task. That's for sure. I had to work a long time to get to basically building at the level I build at now. So, but I really wouldn't mind for like the next ship. I do have a modern ship I'm going to be working on here soon. That's going to take up a little bit of time. But after that, I'd really like to kind of explore maybe some Japanese ships. I don't know which ones or anything like that yet, but I think it'd be pretty cool to maybe, explore some of their ships. They have some pretty cool stuff. That'd be pretty sweet to work on. Good old Japanese ships. And then I have a big project I like to have done by, I believe it's October, the anniversary for Taffy 3. I'd like to get pretty much every ship from Taffy 3 built, which will also be quite a uh, quite a feat. I'd have to redo my Samuel B. Roberts because it's a bit outdated. It's actually really not bad for its age, but it would be really nice to get that all updated and stuff like that. So I'd have to update that and then have to build the other versions of the Fletchers, camouflage, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely be a pretty hefty project. What happened there? Ooh, I messed something up. Yeah, I mean, I want to do a Yamato eventually. Don't get me wrong, but Yamato's just so overdone. It's something I would like to maybe save for later. um, Nagata would be cool, but also I know Crafty's working on one right now, so at least I think he's working on Nagato. I don't know. It seems like he's like started like 50 different ships in like the past week. So when Replenisher, probably never. I don't know. Maybe eventually. I just don't find them interesting to build, or like, oh my gosh, I need to build this. This looks so cool. So now I got the fun part of trying to figure out the spacing here for the rooms, because these rooms here, they have kind of like a center circle that kind of goes around. It's almost like a barbette in a barbette, but it goes around like this. I think it's just mainly like a mechanical room with different gears and equipment and stuff like that. But it kind of looks something like this. And on the outside here is the rings where the projectiles are kind of like located around the sides. That's true. A German pocket battleship would be kind of cool to do as well. I was planning on doing one back when I was working on the base. I was wanting to do one. So these shells are probably going to be. I feel like that's too big though for a 16-inch shell. So it'd be about 24 inches, so 2 feet. Yeah, that'd be too big. Realistically, the shell needs to be kind of more. I would say a wall size would be probably more accurate to what they would have size wise, what they probably would have been like. Even then, I feel like that right there is a little too tall. All right, see you later, Gamer Ian. Thanks so much for stopping by. Nagato, Azagari, and Recruit Shift as next or his next builds. I see. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's working on them, and then he stopped. And he like started other ones and all this stuff, and it's like, which one are you working on? For me, I like to kind of stick with one project at a time, finish it, and then move on to the next, just to avoid not coming back to it. Yeah, I think Admiral Hipper was gonna be the one I was gonna put on the German base, but the U-boat pens, but obviously that project isn't going any longer. So something might happen soon. Oh, who knows? The scale is 1.5 to 1. Trying to remember here. I want to say that this section here maybe could go two shells thick. Let's see. What ship is he sailing on there? Well, isn't that the Nimitz or whatever that he got commissioned to do, and he had them help him for a majority of it? 1 second here, replying to a text. Here's all the jobs hobbies currently have in the VA: animating, book writing, modeler. Jeez, dude, you're a busy guy, man. That's pretty cool though. Oh shit, that's not supposed to do that. There's so many shells down here. Imagine like walking around in this. Well, I did actually, but I feel like this is a little tighter than it was on there. But again, we're working at Minecraft scale. We're kind of limited to what we can and cannot do, unfortunately. So just gotta kind of do our best. And there would also be like these like tracks or like clear like seams in the floor that you could be able to see like where the turret would rotate, what parts of it would rotate and not. So all this still in high school. Well, that's pretty good, man. Good to stay busy. Every ship. Oh man, that's kind of wild, dude. I feel like it's crazy to like have some guys build a build for you and then put it in your world and sell it. That's like me taking your ships, for example, putting them in my world and sell my world, not taking giving any credit for it. What's up, Reflector? How you doing, man? We're starting the pain and misery, dude. That is going to be the interior of the turret. All the gulping. Take this slowly. Are you sure they were just talking there, man? Because there may have been something else going on than talking. Life of a shipbuilder. It's pain, dude. I don't know how you guys did it for so long. You guys are just now, drawing me into it. One of the ships that had a boiler explosion. That sounds fun. Who doesn't love a good boiler explosion? Let me just build all 4 boilers of the ship and that are all different from each other, set up differently, or I should say machine rooms. Here I was hoping that the machine rooms would, all be nice, symmetrical, work. No, that's not how that works. I feel like an idiot for even thinking that. But I think the best way to build this is just going to be leaving this outside skeleton and just kind of working on everything on the inside. And what kind of sucks too is I'm going to have to build really 2 areas or 2 different turrets because the B turret there is different. Yeah, if you have some of the rest for Iowa's guns, I'll definitely take them. I'm definitely not going to say no to any of that. So take any of the references I can get at this point. So I believe right about here there would be an entrance into this section here. Now I'm not sure if it was standard or if it was added in with the museum. But I do remember there being a room here, and it does look like there was like a hatch, and it was like for getting into the machinery spaces and stuff like that. So we're gonna try to recreate that. That's not gonna work. Let's see, trying to figure out how to do a small doorway, but not be such a disaster. Let's see, smooth quartz. Put some smooth quartz in there like that. I might have to kind of do it like this here. It ain't perfect, but could potentially work. Because it's kind of a smaller little doorway. It's not like huge or anything like that, like a bulkhead, but mainly designed just for people to be able to get in there to maintenance work and all that. But could also do something like this here. That doesn't work really good, does it? That's not too bad there. There we go. Now we're cooking a little bit. Though you're not really getting in here. It's one of those things, those rooms that's you can look through the window and you can see that, but that's about it. I think actually in here would be where they would have you would have yeah, no, it would be the tubes here for the powder to come up. So I gotta figure out how to do that. It slopes internally? Where the hell are you seeing that at? Barbette isn't straight. I don't know how I'm gonna not do the barbette straight. It's not like you can see it inside here, man. Come on now. They gotta figure out how to like represent the powder tubes here. Map of everything. There's a free version for it that is a bit outdated and older. The newest version of the map is not going to be free. It is a uh, download, exclusive download. So there's going to be the two lifts here for turrets or the guns 2 and 3, and then gun 3 will be over here, or gun 1 will be over here. So there's like two lifts on one side for the hoist for the powder. Send you some rest. Okay. Oh, I see. Interesting. So it actually slopes out a little bit, huh? That's actually pretty helpful. Because really interesting about it is that the turrets, like the, I guess what would be the A turret, and what is this one back here, the Z turret, or the C turret, those will have that smaller like actual handling room, but the middle turret has a much larger handling room in it comparative. So something I have to try to account for here. But we have the lifts that go up like this, so kind of have to figure out how to really fit these in here. And I mean, they're not going to fit in real well, to be honest with you. I mean, we are limited. This is Minecraft. There's only going to be so much we can really do for the lifts, but we'll see what we can do here. See if we can maybe get these to fit somewhat or look somewhat believable. So that if somebody walked in here and for whatever reason decided to look at this area, they'd be like, "Oh, cool! He actually did the powder hoist and all that stuff." But let's see, do this like this, and honestly, that right there could work for our design for it. We don't need anything too crazy, and I think that works pretty nice. Kind of shows what we want to show. Nice slope here of these going up. Again, ain't gonna be perfect, but it'll work. So those are the hoist, and we'll once we get to the section down below there, these hoists will make a little more sense what they're doing. With having been a pain, are you gonna do North Carolina's current camo? I'm gonna be doing it. So realistically, with this project, I do plan on building both uh, North Carolina, and also I'm gonna be building what's her face, Washington. So Washington had, I believe, the Measure 21, the blue and the gray, very standard design. So I will be going ahead and building both those basically. So one will have the nice camouflage and all that stuff, and the other one won't. But NorCal will definitely have her 1944. Was it Measure 32 camouflage? But museum was actually what she wore for most of her career. I think it was 2 years she had the Measure 32, which is what she currently has in the museum. And honestly, I think it's the most recognizable camo that she had. So definitely doing that one. But I'm gonna do Washington, which will have the more standard, traditional camouflage in comparison. Let's see. What was I gonna use here? Could also use rails for the track, but I don't really know if those will work real well. There's a lot of little details here in the actual turret itself I'm not going to be able to represent too well just due to the size and nature of things for the most part. And unfortunately, I just can't really remember a lot of these areas in here, like what exactly they look like. And what do we think for shells? Are we thinking here for the shells that look better like this or like that? I mean, either one I think looks fine. I kind of lean toward this one being a little bit thicker, but well, it's kind of up to what you guys think. Washington's MS-21 was messed up. Slopes. I did notice that with your model, yours sloped down a little bit. I was actually looking at that. And I was like, is it meant to do that? But that makes sense now that you mention it. And then let me see here if I could pull up in Discord real quick my references I have. So let's see. You have the powder room right there. Okay. That's actually perfect. That's the reference I needed right there, actually. So hoist would be in the back over here. Or the hoists are to the sides. So we got the two hoists down. Trying to kind of make sense of what I'm looking at here. Got this have to see. Send you a PC, dude. I need to upgrade my PC first, you know. Maybe after if I have some schmeckles left after upgrading my PC, I can maybe throw my old one your way. Most likely not though. But yeah, I definitely am due for an upgrade on my PC right now cuz I'm still rocking the old 2080 right now. Super far behind. Hello, this Irish guy. You guys act like I actually make money off YouTube. Come on now. YouTube over here is just solely for my pure fun and enjoyment. Ooh. Yeah, these references are actually really good, ref. Got some good stuff. Good stuff. 2026 or 2016 Alienware laptop. Oof. That is extremely rough, man. Can't even imagine what you're sporting there. Ooh, you even have the layout of that. Ooh. These are some good references. I don't know where the hell you got these from, but some good stuff. Again, I think I took a picture of this room here, so I'm kind of curious. Want to look real quick on my Discord where I posted a bunch of references of the insides here. Powder rooms, all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure I took some pictures inside. Yeah, it was a really small little space, to be honest. I see ya. Let's see. Where are my slabs I'm looking for? See if I can make anything work with that. So do something kind of looks like this here. So I guess something kind of like that. If you USS Harford in the future, she actually used a float variant of the F4U. Oh, interesting. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't even know they made float versions of the Corsair. But I guess it makes sense. Pretty much everything was turned into a float plane pretty much at one point. I didn't even know there was float plane Mustangs until just recently. So, granted, it was just an experimental thing, but or a concept thing, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Let's see, do this, and that. Something kind of like that. Just add a little bit of detail to the ceiling there. You want an all-color run? Eh, he, I feel like Max is just kind of always like up in the air on what he's actually doing. I feel like he's on Minecraft and then he's not, and then he's back on, and yeah, I don't know. Who knows at this point? But hopefully he comes back. That's all you can really hope for. But with Minecraft, people tend to come and people tend to go. So just the nature of the game. Like pretty much most of the people I was building or started building around when, I did are pretty much gone. So a lot of my old Xbox buddies that used to build. That was back in the that was back in the Stone Age though, when I used to build actual like medieval structures and stuff like that. It's pretty fun, but got tired of them. What is going on here with this? Cancel. I need you like this. Just to rotate. And it should be a flip. And it should go right over here. And there we go. Slide in just like that. As for the naval Mustangs, I didn't know it was a thing either. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that's definitely like kind of lost to history. I don't think anybody really expected them to do that with a Mustang. Definitely a very peculiar version of it. You're deleting MB. Nothing of value will be lost. I'm just kidding. See, that looks pretty decent. I feel like I need to add like some lights in here. Let's see, look at my pictures, see if I can find sort of reference. Yeah, honestly, it looks like they just put like filing cabinets and crap in here. I think this right here would actually be thinner. I think I have it too thick. I think just one block here is more accurate, actually. I think that sucks. I'm gonna have to move this entire ladder inwards as well. So something like that. Oh shit. Falling through the floor. Yeah, it's real fun being up in this up inside this, let me tell you. That's why interior builds for these things usually always suck, because you're trying to like fit your character into such a tight space, and you're trying to build and be able to see around what you're doing, and just all around a mess, not a good time. So something kind of like this, and that looks actually a lot better floor space wise based off what I'm seeing here. And honestly, I think I may have the rack lineup wrong because I'm trying to figure out the orientation here because it feels like these should be on this right here should be on that side and this should be over here on this side. So that's something I might have to mess with because I think the floor hatch is on this side from looking at, but I have to mess with it. Why is my what? Walled on the top? What do you mean? Why is my belt only walled at the top? If you ever make the soaked, oh, that'd be cool. So I can just basically copy and paste. I would like to eventually probably do South Dakota. I mean, if I stick with my long aspirations of trying to build every U.S. Battleship type, I'm sure eventually that'll come. I just got burnt out after doing 4 of those early dreadnoughts. These things just are like the same thing with just minor changes, and then trying to find any references for some portions of it was like trying to pull teeth, and it's just not fun. Because there's very little information on the late conversions of them when they early 1910s, I guess you can say. Armor belt on the hull. You talking about this? Oh, right here. It's mainly a thing for weathering. It's gonna be very difficult for me to do weathering right down there, so that's the main reason I've done it the way I have right now. Let's take this. We'll do, because looking at the picture inside here, it looks like there's some kind of tank. But again, it's hard to tell what's original or not because they seem to have like a bunch of extra just crap thrown in there. So who knows? I find a way. Okay. Let me just get on that real quick with adding, 400 different variants of shelves into the game. I will get right on that. So say this goes back. Not sure. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. There goes my freaking light. Oh man. Professional streamer over here. Well, I'm looking at an actual reference of it, ref, and like when I was there, and they have basically a lot of the mechanisms in there for it. There's like some generators or like some engines of some sort. So there we go. I somehow unplugged my light. There we go. Much better. So it looks like there's like there's the power generator or like some sort of generator or hoist generator or something like that in here, with this whole system. Server review win, yeah. Full bright. I do have my brightness on. You see, I think there's a vision or an option. Let's see. I thought there was like a night vision thing. Maybe not. Does that improve anything? No. It's probably just my shaders, if I'm being honest with you. Let me go to video settings. Let me go ahead and turn my shaders off. There we go. Much better. That looks much better. I got that turned off now. So now you can actually see what we got going on in here. And you ain't missing much. So the hatch looks like it opens up here. Then there's some sort of like generator looking thing here to the side. There's also like a black cabinet back here. Don't know how accurate that is to the real thing, but we'll go ahead and try to recreate it anyway. Which I think there should be some sort of cool looking black block we can use. Maybe not. I mean, really, it's just kind of like a storage looking thing. So something kind of like that, really. And then we'll put like an anvil on top. Something like that. I have to redo the ladders and figure that all out later when we get into that upper section there, but we'll basically do this for now. Start a podcast. You can be like every other person out there that has a podcast. What would you have a podcast about? Hey Atlas, how you doing, buddy? Okay, let's see. So that's like that. Probably take some silver here. Have you guys ever had the nerd gummy clusters or the nerd clusters? Things sound so good. You guys are just bullying poor Lauder. What do you even do? He's just chilling in here and getting bullied by you clowns. So mean. This is looking pretty about right. Besides having a bunch of wiring running all over the place, I think that's probably what I'll be able to do in here. Stole my Arby's? Arby's is disgusting. Gosh. My girlfriend, she loves Arby's, and I'm just like, I'm like, how? It's like the most disgusting thing ever. It's like I don't want anything to do with it. My mom also likes Arby's. Like, out of all things. Taste chemically made. What, the nerd ropes, or the nerd ropes are fantastic. I don't care if they're chemically made. I don't care if they got some craziness in them. I think they're good. They slap. I'm like partially addicted to them. It's kind of a problem, but they are so good. Yeah, if you don't know what Arby's is, you don't you don't want to know. It's a fast food chain that serves roast beef that is questionable. So I'll let you kind of put that together. Dang, they got a lot of different shells. So the AP shells were actually black. Hmm. Okay. Let's see, and then I gotta make the barbette slant out, which I think realistically, for the most part, like it's really only gonna come out maybe this far. Like just one more block out would be my guess. Ignore the nuclear. You're black? Nobody asked if you were black. I'm just kidding, Irish. Well, considering Iowa's used the same guns, for the most part, they were slightly different. I could see 100% see them having a nuclear shell too for the Carolinas. I mean, it's possible to have a black man that's red haired. I mean, I've never personally seen it, but it's possible. Irish is the most pale person here. Well, I think honestly, what I'll do probably is I'll probably do one ring with the black with AP shells, and maybe the other ring without the AP shells, or with HE. I think that's probably gonna be the route I go for this. Sweetie fair. Oh my gosh. Now where's my baddie? You got an addiction to that woman, man. She's hot, don't get me wrong. But the whole goon cave is definitely something else. Darkened from the heat wave. I got a really bad sunburn on my legs. Like I made the mistake. I put sunscreen on, right? I did everything I was supposed to, not being an idiot, and I still somehow managed to fuck that up, and I got sunburn on my upper thighs because I put sunscreen on, but I didn't actually put it kind of past the areas of my legs that would be exposed, and my swim trunks kind of rode up a little bit. And in doing so, I got areas of my leg that weren't sunscreen protected, basically exposed to the sun, and put two and two together and now I have some crispy legs that hurt pretty bad, to say the very least. Because I am as like white as they come, and when I burn, it's not a good time. You know, the reason I don't go outside is because whenever I do, I get sunburned. You're gonna reveal tomorrow. Do something like that there. Honestly, this section right here, I'll probably just fill in like that. Should be fine. Just close that off there. Inside here, the of this section's gonna be a little funky. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna get this to work right. Because of course now I have to angle these turrets. Because somebody said I had to. Or angle the barbettes. Sent another reference. Oh. That's good stuff right there too. Mm. That's kind of cool how they actually how the have the shells kind of organized. Because of ticks? Dude, what the hell are you doing to go get ticks on you? I remember the like when I had my drill, and they were like, "Yeah, you know, we're going out in some backwoods, you know, you might be exposed to some ticks and stuff." I was like, "Oh hell no." I like lather myself up in anti-tick spray and all kinds of crap to not even have the chance of getting them. It's like, where the hell are you getting ticks? If I suffer, you suffer. Hey, that's not fair, man. I should have never agreed to build the interior for this thing. Now I see why you stopped at you didn't even do the magazines on Iowa. You're like, yep, no, I'm good. I'm tapped out. It's starting to make a lot more sense now. On the bright side, though, I can fit some more ammunition shells down here. Let's see, it needs a flip. There we go. Yeah, just building the interior. It's mainly it just comes down to the space confinement that just really bothers me. Honestly, I should just get rid of all these shells in here for the time being until I build this. But it's just really the space constraints that just really suck. How you doing, Erwin? Or Aaron? Sorry, Aaron. I'm dyslexic. Please excuse me. Just kidding. I'm not actually, but possibly. Who knows? Jungle shelf. I got jungle shelves, so why am I using those? The more the better. Yep. The more shells, the better. And I was also wanting to do the 5-inch gun magazines, but yeah, now we're drifting into territory where I'm like, you know, since we started it, we'll do the turret interior. That's about it. That's where we stop. Y'all need to relax. You guys gotta wait till Sunday for mom to come back. So fill this all in here. So it'll kind of look something like that there for the corner. So I'm thinking kind of shape wise, something like that should look good. And then these will just come straight down like this. Or really, let's do this here so I can see it a little bit better, the different floors. And this will come across here. So it'll look something kind of like this there for that for the barbette. And I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I know they're like on this, they're like kind of off center. So you have like the funnels in the center, and they like run across like one of the middle decks, like on the sides of the center. It would actually be very difficult to probably do, if I'm being honest, just based off how they have it structured and all that. Get back in here real quick. So now with that extra space, I think we can actually do 2 rings of shells now, which is pretty good. Ref, are you thinking for the shells here, in terms of best looking? You think these right here look best, or are you thinking just the single walls right here? Because I'm kind of conflicted. Because I kind of like these, but I don't know how good these ones are. Let's do this right here. Gosh, it is crazy tight in here. Something like that, and then we can switch over to the darker color ones, or the black ones for AP, which I think polished blackstone might be the best, if I'm being honest. And they'll have a little yellow tip on them too. Looks yellow. Yeah, so something kind of like that there. Look like senior shells. Yeah. So you're thinking for like in the gun racks, in like the actual racks themselves here, doing like the stacked walls design. So I think these might make like the best sense for this space here, but it is very tight in here. Let's do this like that. Boom, boom. You can control C. What? No, you're joking with me, right? You're kidding me. How long is it? What? Since when was this a thing? My gosh. I never realized you could do this. That's actually insane. Wow. Wow. I feel like I just need to like really sit down and like read the whole like Axiom manual or something, because I don't know any of these little tricks. Let's see. So that'll look something like that. Gosh, it is hard to move in here. Dude, Axiom is like literally insane. Like even with the features, like the few features I've figured out, like it's insane to think that I built without Axiom, you know? Don't trust Ref, he's hazardous. Ref is definitely interesting. But he knows some good stuff. He knows his Axiom very well, that's for sure. And he's really good at finding models for me, so like I don't even know how he's finding these turret models. Like these things are like these are like perfect 100% what I need in models or references. I don't even know how he even began to find these. So it's so cramped. I think I'll leave this space right here open for shells without any shells, just so that you can kind of get in there. Let's see, grab Control C. You can replace those right there on the bottom. So like that. And I think also I'm probably just going to copy the same design for this for the other projectile room. I think that's probably the best bet. My only issue is I don't really have much room in here because there should be hoists that I have to do later on, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough space in here to really capture those. I'm honestly leaning toward just doing maybe like a one row of shells here on the inside walls. I know it's probably heresy, but just for space constraints, I'm kind of thinking it might be the best play here because I still have to have like the projectile loaders and all that stuff in this deck, and it's going to be very difficult to fit that all in. I know about replace mode and no clip. Yeah. R. Yeah. R to enter it and disable it. I do know about that, and I know about no clip because used it on your world actually for going into the going into your Iowa to just kind of take a look and see what you did for the gun mechanisms and all that. Tight it is, yeah. I think this works better though. I think the spacing here is more accurate doing something like this here for the shells while it's not entirely the most perfect and accurate. I think it's probably going to be our best bet. Just to kind of make things a little bit more accessible in here because there's also the gun hoist that we need to make or the projectile hoists that are going to take up some space. So I will need to make sure that I have the availability for that space. Is it heresy? I mean, possibly. Ask Reflector. He'll let you know if it's heresy or not. He's the supremo shipbuilder. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy in here. Actually, I think just doing full blocks here would actually work best. Let's do this all the way around. That works there because I gotta do the roofs and all that stuff. Really, I probably should have waited on doing the interior of the little kind of center room here, because if I do any kind of rotating stuff like that, I'm gonna kind of mess stuff up. So you got to kind of be careful with how I go about that. Let's do this here. Boop, boop, boop. So, do you think we'll be done with the full interior by tomorrow? If I miss one block, I mean, honestly, it probably wouldn't be. You honestly probably wouldn't notice. There's like so much in here that you probably won't miss anything. So I think you would probably be good. And the world would end. Yes, the entire world would end. It would be burnt to the ground. There'd be people writing stories about how I missed one block on my Minecraft build. But it does happen. Be surprised at how easy it is to miss a build or miss a block here doing these builds sometimes. I'm definitely not perfect. Oops. These are supposed to be these guys right here. So boop. Is this technically even needed? No, actually, I can just get rid of that, and it gives me a little, little bit more room there to stick an extra shell in. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, there we go. Really shoving in shells now. Honestly, I think I'll just get rid of the shells right here. I don't think they're exactly necessary, and they kind of mess up the spacing a little bit for this deck section here. So yeah, that's fine there. Why is this right here so different? I think it's mainly because I have the shells differently set up here, so I think that's what's throwing this area off a little bit. So I think what we'll do here is we'll get rid of this, this, and this, and then that should match up now. And yeah, that seems all right. There is that space right there. It's not that big of a deal. So my superstructure is the wrong color? Oh shit, I would have never known. Who would have guessed? Yeah, that's gonna change. It's a big work in progress. I think it looks pretty good though, you know? I'm kind of like doing like a inspiration off of like the Wisconsin, you know, like the cheese, kind of like the cheese theme going on. I think it's pretty sweet. I think it's definitely got potential, you know. Guys, such tight space in here. Oh boy. The joys of building the turrets. Let me tell you. And to think I maybe want to do the magazines. Maybe one magazine would be kind of cool. You do love some cheese. Cheese is pretty good, man. You get yourself some cheese curds and stuff like that. So good. Any sort of cheese fried, and it's gonna be pretty top notch. Then get some mozzarella sticks and all that stuff. Ooh. Some good stuff right there. Used to go to like Sam's Club and get like you can get like a pack of like the frozen mozzarella sticks and then throw them in the air fryer for a little bit and pull them out. Oh, man, those things are so good. Yeah. You could have rated my boy? Oh no. Well, I mean, to be fair, dear, I'm hardly ever streaming, so whenever I do stream, it's like hell froze over, to be fair, so but I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you had a good stream. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of boats in this update, like an absurd amount. We got quite a few coming because I'm still working on a few spruances. So yeah, it really should just be Model World Spruance update. Like that's the title. Like that's everything there is. It's like you either like spruances and you're very happy, or you don't like spruances and you're gonna have a bad time. Because really, that's kind of kind of the whole update. Trump win. I don't know if I'll make a Trump class battleship. It's got to actually happen first, you know, and there's actually got to be some actual reference pictures and stuff, and not just some artist rendition that's going to go to shit as soon as they start building it and they realize, oh, this isn't actually going to work and we need to change it and all this stuff. So like, oh, that's not actually plausible. Okay, let's go ahead and redo it. Should make an aircraft carrier. I do plan on doing it. Despicable times. Have fun time. Lots of angry yelling. Nearly had a stroke. Typical anime stream. Sounds about right. Yeah, literally that's it. I honestly I want to get more builds done before the update. I mean, I was planning on doing because I like to do a model world update about every month. I think is usually pretty good for my current pace of building. But I feel like the current update it's kind of weak because there's really not a lot of things besides ships and but then again if you're like a ship fan you're definitely eating good for this update, but I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling I guess after I finish NorCal if I think the world will go up or not, or the next update will be out for it. It's definitely getting due for one though. Yeah, just saying a riff about Trump. Yeah, I mean the ship is not even they haven't even started building the damn thing, so not gonna try to build anything unless there's actual references for it. But sure, once it gets built and there's a actual model out there for it, and sure, why not? Why the hell not? Gosh, this is such a tight space to walk in. Honestly, if you have any sort of fear of tight spaces and everything like that, I may not be able to recommend the build for you guys. Or you can enjoy the outside, stay going in. I think when I did a tour of the North Carolina, or when I was in there, kind of walking around, I could have swore there was some lady having a panic attack in the engine room, and it was like the most absurd thing I've ever seen. But I guess some people are like that, you know. Like, she might have been having some sort of actual medical issue, but it looks like she was just like having a full blown like panic attack being inside the ship. And I'm like really? Like the engine room isn't even that bad. Like it's actually pretty spacious for an engine room. So over here, like having a full on meltdown, laying sitting on the floor, like crying. I'm like Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to be a bad update for the model world by any means. I mean, I just I'd like to get like one, more radar system done or something for the Soviets. Keep up with that project. Eventually, I'm going to build every Soviet surface-to-air missile system, but who knows when that will be. I do love myself a good Soviet SAM. Definitely make the coolest anti-aircraft missile systems, I think. USS Arizona. Eventually, I'd like to do the Arizona. I'm trying to stick to more like lesser built ships. I know North Carolina probably doesn't fit that bill too much, considering she does have some pretty good recognition. But um, I also live in North Carolina, so ship's kind of cool to me because it's right here. Same thing with like the Midway. I built like the World War II Midway, but my grandpa served on the Midway, and it's also a really cool carrier and a really cool museum and stuff I visited a lot as a kid. So felt felt driven to build it, though I have not built the modern Midway, and that is something that I plan on doing, but not right now. But modern would be pretty sweet. Wait, is this crate mod or nah? This is just regular Minecraft, regular building. And that's all the people who build stuff that don't use crate. Axiom does not have anything mechanical, as far as I know. There may be some like mods and stuff like that out there that may you rely on Axiom, but I don't think so. I appreciate it, though. Yeah, unfortunately, if I do release a USS Arizona, if it's not commissioned, it'll be a uh, Patreon exclusive type of build, but also it's going to be, it's definitely gonna be monetized. They're not gonna be a free download for especially for ships. Like my rule is if somebody commissions it through Patreon or like just flat out, paying me to build it, I will 100% put it out as a free download for everyone else to enjoy. But if it's something that I just built myself and all that stuff, it's gonna be exclusive to my patrons and all that stuff, monetized content, which I think is fair. Modern Midway win. I do want to build a modern carrier. I don't know if Midway is going to be the first. I don't know which one is going to break that cherry for me, but we'll see. Want to secure U.S. standard type, USS West Virginia or Pearl Harbor configuration? That would be pretty cool. Since when the hell did Stealthy move to North Carolina? Did he live in Alaska? I thought he lived in Alaska. And also where in North Carolina? Because North Carolina is a kind of a big state. Please move to MB. Yes, I'm going to just live on Military Builder server. See, I like being by myself in my world. I don't know what it is, why it is. I do enjoy it. I had a server for a little while that was a private server where only a few like friends had access to it and all that stuff, but I've just grown that I really just like being by myself, doing my thing. He moved a couple months ago, living in Houston or something. Houston's definitely not in North Carolina. if you're if you're saying he's living in Houston, North Carolina, that's definitely not a thing. Houston, Texas. Stealthy's out here living in Houston, North Carolina. What do you mean? It's illegal to have a Minecraft server? When the hell is that become illegal? Well, Stealthy should come tour. We can do a vlog together. Me and Stealthy touring the North Carolina. Do like a big old video on it. Also, I still got a bone to pick with military builders because I still haven't got my Lego F-14 I won in that build contest. So I'm gonna have to beat somebody up. What am I missing here? Why does this not look right? Something's off here. Well, this is definitely not supposed to be there. But let me just take this right here. We'll just copy this across, I guess. Break the rules of Minecraft. Minecraft has no rules. Now I can't get back in my gun turret. Sweet. Oh, he's working on the F-14? Gotcha. I thought it was already supposed to be out. Like, I thought they said that stuff was supposed to be released, like, in early May, and they still hadn't heard anything about it. I want my Lego F-14, man. The reason I joined that damn contest was to get that thing. F-14 where I riot. So I think for the most part, that's like the inner ring right here. I still have to do the glorious hoist also in here as well, which is just gonna be so much fun. Direct wall. What is honestly my favorite ship? Um, that's a good question, man. I mean, in terms of like ships that I've gotten to go see, like museum ships, the Midway by far is the best museum ship out there. I love that ship. Such a good museum. Um, but as of like just like personal favorite ones, I don't know, man. Like maybe for me, like the Fletcher, I've always just really gravitated toward the Fletchers. It was one of the first ships I ever built in Minecraft was a Fletcher, so I feel like I kind of gravitate toward it a little bit. So I'd say maybe that. Grab some polished blackstone buttons here. Let's see, something like this. Now, technically, these would have been a little bit closer to the ground, but they're basically like cables to help pull the shells around, stuff like that. They're just like big ships. are in between the gun barrels. I gotcha. Now, maybe you know this ref, but in the museums, they basically cut a path into the barbette to get into it. How in the world did they get down into the turret if the turret was completely sealed off from the rest of the ship? That's my biggest question is like how like the central ladder, so like the crew would have to climb down this like central ladder all the way down for the ship to get down into the turret, like into the deeper parts of it, like the handling room and all that stuff. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Because they would have the room completely sealed off, or the barbette's completely sealed off from the rest of the ship. Let's see, pull up. Let's pull up here again. I have some good pictures of the hoists for the shells themselves. Favorite ship's Helena. Yeah, I did really enjoy the whole story of Helena. Um, a lot of really good, a lot of cool history about Helena. She was a pretty awesome ship. It was actually funny because the guy when I was the tour guide for the whole thing and all that stuff, he was talking about how ships, originally the whole radar systems weren't trusted by admiralty and all that stuff, and it cost a lot of deaths on the U.S. side just due to the fact that generals just or the admirals just didn't trust the capabilities of radar and incorporating it and all that stuff. And it was kind of interesting because he was talking about how it led to a lot of really major defeats and a lot of ass kickings of the U.S. Navy. And it was kind of funny because me being the nerd I am, I was like, "Oh, that's Guadalcanal." It's like, yeah, they definitely learned their lesson on Guadalcanal. My girlfriend was like what? How do you know that? Because I know everything. I feel so bad for her. She has to live with me being a history freak. Honestly, like I think my dream job, or like if I like when I get to that point of like retiring or whatever, is I would love to be like those old guys that just give the tours on the ships all day. Like I know I wasn't in the Navy or anything like that and all that, but like I'd love to just talk about those ships, just give all kinds of information off of it. I love how I'm just over here talking about this, and then the whole chat's just divulged into a giant argument about the mouse tank, which I feel like is just a common occurrence. People always fight about the effectiveness of German tanks. We can all agree they're cool, but they weren't always the greatest. Definitely overhyped in a lot of instances. Let's see. The North Carolina is actively hiring. See, my problem is if I didn't live like an hour away, I would probably 100%. But it's something I'm considering. I would like to maybe just volunteer on there, maybe like 2 days a month or something like that, just to go on there and help out. Tony was a tour guide on Midway, really? See, I would just, I would love that so much. I think that's like realistically, that's probably my dream job. If I'm being honest, like just being a tour guide on the ships. I mean, they don't pay money or like they don't pay much, and a lot of it's all volunteer work and stuff, which is fine and all. Like I don't have no problem volunteering and all that. But you know, at the end of the day, I got bills to pay. I can't be I can't just be volunteering and not making any sort of money to support the house as of right now. But that's pretty cool that somebody actually in MB was a tour guide on there. Kind of curious how he may have got into it. The flying aircraft carrier. Yes. Totally logical. Like the whole Avengers helicarrier. Like, ah, yes. Because that's so much better than just sailing the damn ship for the water. Yeah. Tony was not? I thought he was. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but I could have swore Tony was on MB. Oops. Still arguing about the King Tiger. King Tiger's cool tank, but very overhyped. So now I gotta do the whole hoist. I'm curious though if the bottom floor hoist is probably different than the top than the. That's where it's gonna be a little tricky. Man, there's not a lot of space in here to build this, but I gotta figure out a design here for the actual shell hoist. Because it almost looks like a tri design. You have the controls and stuff like that for right here. I don't know how well this is actually gonna work out, but can try. Let's see. Let's grab some. What was I gonna grab? It honestly looks like it's kind of like a more like polished block. So we'll probably use something like this here. No, I mean it's possible. I could have swore I saw Tony in some Discord server. I remember seeing his name quite a bit, but I don't know. I could be mistaken. Well, I guess I am mistaken because sounds like I'm completely wrong. But I thought he was I thought he was actively in MB. Let's do this here. I think it kind of goes like that actually. Everything's in the way. Everything's just in the way. I don't need that actually. Let's do this here. Start with final products, and they're much easier than you thought. Like school final projects? Oh shit, you're not gonna be able to get by this. I guess you're gonna have to have no clip on to actually get through my ship. Because this right here is the or the loader, which honestly should be rotated the other way. I feel like it should be, flip this. Gosh, I just don't have much space to work with here. I think I just have to get rid of maybe some of the shells in these spaces. Like maybe just especially like around like the loader or the chute right here. Just kind of have to give myself a little bit more space because there's just no way I'll be able to fit that whole system right there in there with just the limited space I have. So college, yeah, I'm so happy I'm freaking done with my college. That shit sucks. Now I get out of college, I can't even get a job with my degree, so that's great. Of course, I decided to choose a career field that's super oversaturated right now. Gotta love it. Let's see, rotate this around. So something kind of like that there. Realistically, that would go up to the next floor right there. These could probably switch out for stairs. So something kind of like this. Again, I really can't see anything because this space sucks so much to work in. Okay, I think it's something kind of like that. Would be like this. So this would actually just be a full block right here then. There we go. Now we're figuring some stuff out somewhat. Gender studies. Hey, dude, that's a good career field. Can't be as me as best studying art. I mean, that's very true. I could definitely chose much worse, but it's just IT right now is just very, very oversaturated, unfortunately. But everybody just wanted a sweet work from home gig and all that stuff, so. So what I'll do is I'll take this here, we'll flip it to the other side, and then we should have this all done here. So position, I believe, like this here. And then I got rid of these shells in this space here. Put in some pressure plates. Went ahead and beefed up the wall. And we pretty much have ourselves 2 of the elevators. And then there will be 1 more elevator located right here in this space. So I'd have to make that. Unfortunately, I don't have any images for that area because that area is kind of off on the back end. You can't really see into it, so we'll have to kind of guess what it would look like. But should be very similar here to the rest. Do that right there. That there. This will be left open. Really, the main question is how this thing actually got hoisted up. Kind of curious. Oh, I also need to make the spots where they would be able to hoist them through the floor too. Damn, because they had holes in the floor around the outside that would like they'd be able to lower stuff all the way through. So I have to figure that out. Let's see, so that's fine. Got all that set up. Kind of tidy this up here a little bit. Yeah, that's all good right there. Okay. All right, it's looking pretty good in there. Honestly, looks pretty sweet for the most part. Then that right there would just get copied down. Well, we can just go ahead and do the outside here real quick. And then really this would just get copied down one more level and you would have basically your two projectile rings of the turret complete. So let me go ahead and grab that real quick. Just like that. And we'll just go ahead and lower it down. So it should sit right about here. And we'll just go ahead and do this all the way around. Actually, I think I was using this to tell the different floors apart from each other. Because I think about 3 blocks tall is probably the good magic number there for that. For the height of the space, at least. This will get closed off. All this will get closed off as well. Hi, Atlas. Hi, buddy. Man, your breath stinks extra rank today. How come I was notified of the stream? You needs an answer for this. I'm sorry you weren't notified, man. Sometimes YouTube does that kind of stuff. But it's all good. You haven't really missed too much. We've just been working on the turret here for our North Carolina ship we're working on, which looks pretty good so far, if I do say so myself. So we have our hoist and all that stuff installed here. So this actually needs to go through to this level up here, because this would just go all the way up through, and this would as well, and this right here. So these just go straight up to the guns. So let's see, gotta make sure. Go all the way down, all the way through. And then let me just go ahead and copy this level here. We'll paste it on the bottom so that we can get the whole floor for the bottom on, which should be right there. So we have a nice bottom. These can be adjusted so that they don't look all weird. And it's the floor of that right there. So this is gonna be the roof of the what you call it, of the powder handling room. So if you're kind of wondering what this area down here is going to be, that's going to be the powder handling room, all in this section right down here. It is really honestly impressive engineering how these turrets actually worked. Just pretty crazy to think about the engineering involved in them to get these things to actually like fire. Really cool stuff. So that'll be the roof down there. So we pretty much got these whole sections done right there. So that's pretty good. Hey, buddy. But yeah, I'll probably be a lot of stuff I'll have to just do off camera. I mean, we spent 2 hours just working on this interior space here, and it looks pretty good, but definitely is a bit of a pain to build this for sure. This will kind of just continuously go upwards, it looks like. Oh, I'm gonna have to adjust everything up here on this level because everything's misaligned as well. And then this right here will be opened up. What's going on? Oh, that's misaligned too. That's awesome. So go ahead and fix this here. Bring that in like that. Go ahead and clear this. And we'll do that. This. And that. So that goes straight down. We'll have our section there on the bottom. But that right there, guys, is probably gonna wrap up the stream for tonight. Got a decent amount done on it. Obviously, I would have liked to get a little bit more done. But for the most part, made some pretty good progress on this turret interior. I can't even imagine if I went to attempt the boilers and all that stuff, how that would go. So I don't know. I still don't think we might just be sticking with the turrets on this build. Maybe eventually, NorCal will see some upgrades over time to get built up with her boilers and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, it's going to be a bit more extensive than I was thinking, considering how this went so far, working on it. But it's looking pretty good so far. Anyways, though, I think that right there is going to wrap up this the stream. Hopefully, you guys all did enjoy. If you want to see more of the live streams and stuff working on the North Carolina, I'm sure I'll be working on here for the next few days. Then definitely be sure to let me know. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time, and have a good rest of your night.